Today we are going to learn how to put standard error of the mean on our graphs and sheets. There's just a few little things that you have to know to do it. And it is a little complicated. So step by step, here we go. I have our DICE data here, which is a lot of numbers. And you may have a lot of numbers too, because you may have done different categories and you need to get your totals for your chi-square, because remember, we don't use averages for chi-square. So you need to get your totals for chi-square, and then you've gotten your averages for each category. Now, those of you who are running a control and then a treatment, and then another set control and treatment, a different treatment, and then multiple trials of each, you're going to find out that you have a lot more control numbers than you do treatment, because each of your treatment, you might only have 3 trials for each, but then that's maybe you did hot and cold, and then it was against room temperature, which was your control. So hot versus room temperature, cold versus room temperature. So then all of a sudden you have double your room temperature numbers. So in that case, to do your chi-square, I would just add all the hot and cold together and call it control versus temperature change, and see if there's even a difference between the two. If there is a difference, then your standard error of the mean bars should help you with that. Okay, so I would run my control versus treatment with a chi-square. And then for the standard error of the mean, now you're going to use averages. And so you can average them. It doesn't matter. You'll have a column for control, a column for hot, a column for cold, and you'll average them. Now your sample size is going to be different. So when you calculate your standard error of the mean, your sample size for treatment is going to be more. So you're going to have to use a different, remember, sample size. Standard error of the mean has square root of the sample size on the denominator. So that's going to be different if you have different number of samples for control versus treatment. So you're just going to have to think very, very carefully about how you want to do your data. But assuming that you just had normal trials and you ran like a bunch of them, you should have calculated your total, your average, standard deviation, standard error of the mean, and then we did 2 SEM here. The only thing you need to graph is the average. And so this is what you want to graph right here. Now, I'm going to have an issue because I don't want all of these numbers. I don't want to graph that. Don't graph that. You'll lose points for graphing that. That's too many numbers. All you want is the top, it could be the side, depending on where you put it. But all you want is the labels and the average. And so I have to get these two together somehow. So you have 2 options. You can't copy and paste your average over to here, because if you're saying, I'm just going to move everything, I'm just going to move what I want to graph over here, number of rows, averages, you can't copy and paste that over there because it'll lose its data. Remember, this has been done with a formula, and so it doesn't copy and paste well. You can hide all of these just by simply right-clicking and saying hide row. So you could do that. You could insert one above, okay? And then you could pick these right here, hit Command C, I'm on Mac, hit Control C, and then that, and then you need to double check to make sure it's still doing B2, which is now hidden, still doing B2 through B14. However you get it, you need to get great. Look, I just put that in the total wrong spot. I want it above average, not above number of rows. So insert one above. I'm going to paste that in there. Did it twice. That's funny. So, whatever, it doesn't matter. So I need to make sure that this is still getting the average, B2 through B14. That is correct. And then I'm going to select, I don't need the total. I'm going to select that average, number of rows. Okay. I'm going to hit this button right here. This is my graphing button. I'm going to make a graph. And in a few days, there it goes. So now I have my average, my number of rows. Clearly, this is not what I want. So I have to figure out what it's doing. So I'm using row 17 as headers. And if I scroll down here, it is not. See that? Use row 17 as headers. That fixed it. Okay. So that's important. You have to look and see, okay, what is the spreadsheet doing? If it's not doing what I want it to. So mine came up like that because it didn't realize that I wanted row 17 to be headers. So I have to click on it and make it that. Now, if I switched rows and columns, see how it took my data and it divided into 2 series. So each series is a different color. You need all of your columns to be a different series. So you want it to be, see, all these different colors. So all the different 6 dice, you need them all to be a different color, or else you can't put standard error of the mean bars on them. Okay. So now that I've got my bars set up, oh, and by the way, it's never wrong to just poke these buttons and try to figure out what they're doing and to see if you'll have your graph the way you like it. Okay. Then I go to customize. And so chart style, this is where you just kind of make your chart look cutesy. You can change the background color, whatever you, that's terrible. Whatever you want to do. Oh, look, see-through, fancy. Up to you. Okay. And then, chart axis, you will lose points a million times over if you don't have a horizontal axis label and a, I'm going to say number of rows. No, wait, average. Oh, this is dice. And for some reason, hang on, sometimes you just have to go old school here. You go and just get rid of the title. That is annoying. You're like, that title doesn't go there. So now I'm back in my thing. Here's how I get back into my edit screen. There's 3 dots there. That's menu. And so I go to edit chart. Okay, so now I'm back in my customize. I've got dice side here. And then on I need the vertical axis. I need it to say number of rolls. And that's an average. I could have put average in the front of that or the end, doesn't matter. And then my drop down box for chart title, it's going to be number of rolls per side of dice. Okay. All right. And so then you can change all that text color, alignment, whatever. Okay. No big deal. Now here's where I put my error bars on. It's in something called series. And you'll notice that you have apply to all series, or you can do your different series. So if all of your series had the same standard error of the mean, then you just apply it to all. Ours doesn't. Our standard of the mean is right here. I'm going to set my graph right on top of it so that I can see it. And so I need to do dice 1. That's the blue one. That's this one. And standard error. Oh, I went 2. So 1.04 is that. So I'm going to go down to error bars for the blue one. I'm going to say I want it to be a constant, and then I'm going to change it to 1.04. And there's my standard error bar. You barely see it. So I might need to change some things around so that I can see it better. So it's not gray. It's not like that gray color, or the background I need to change the background. Okay. So then 1, now 2. So 2, I'm going to go down to error bar. I'm going to go to constant because I don't want a percent. And then I'm going to make this one 1.31 because that's what I calculated right there. That it is. And I also don't like the red color, so I want it to be this color. Oh, wow, that's really close to that color. This color. Okay, so this is also, by the way, I'm showing you that because that's where you can actually change the colors of your bars if you want them to be a certain color. Constant. And then the third one is 0.9. There we go. So you can absolutely see what I'm doing here. This is not taking that long. Fourth one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 0.76, actually 0.77, error bar, constant, 0.77. Okay, and then 5, and then error bar, constant, and that is 0.83. And finally, last but not least, 6, error bar, constant, 1.15. Okay. And then you can make any changes you want. You can put the legend. If you have a legend, you can put it in somewhere weird. You can put it inside. Whatever you want to do there. Okay. When you finish, then playing with all of these things and making it like you want. And by the way, I'm going to go up and I'm going to show you right now that I'm changing my background color because I can't see my error bars very good. Okay. And they kind of match the bars anyway. It's kind of weird how it does that. All right. So then I'm finished. So done with the editor, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say copy chart. And then I'm going to go paste it into my poster. Okay. So that it will be right nicely in the middle of my poster. And my people can see that there's no significant difference between my number of rows because all of my bars overlap. Okay, I hope that's very helpful. You can watch that, rewind it, figure out how to make your graphs in Sheets. Have a great day. I will see you soon.